Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are going to do a little bit of an in-depth tutorial on the power planter augers that we use here at Creekside Nursery. So if you have been following Gardening with Creekside for any length of time, if you have ever seen us do a planting video, you are going to be very familiar with these products because we use them all the time. So if you're not familiar with Gardening with Creekside, we are a grower retailer here in North Carolina. We are just west of Charlotte, Zone 7B, and we are blessed with the grand old red clay here in North Carolina, the Piedmont of North Carolina. So what that means is that we deal with our natural native soil tends to be very compacted red clay soil. We are blessed with lots and lots of beautiful trees. So that means what? Roots. Yes, we can also deal with roots and we can have rocks. So we really have a little bit of everything going on here in our gardens. And Jerry and I have been using the power planter augers and the DeWalt drills that come with these augers for really about 4 years now. And I joke and I say that I rarely pick up a shovel anymore. If I'm picking up a shovel, it is probably to dig a plant out, not to put a plant in, because we just use these all the time. You can see here in front of me, we have a little bit of a display. And you might notice that some of the augers are nice and black and shiny and brand new. And then some of them, they've been well loved, shall we say. They are very dirty, they are missing paint, and they are starting to get a little bit worn down. The purpose of us doing this video is because so many of you have asked us, what is the best auger for a certain situation or for you to get as a gardener. So we're going to go through and show you and explain to you the different augers, how we use them here at the nursery, because yes, it is, late June, July is knocking on the door. And this is a great time here in the South to be planting like your hot weather perennials. So we've got perennials that we can be doing. You can even be adding some shrubs at this time. And then of course getting ready for the fall, because fall in the South is a fantastic time to be adding those trees, shrubs, perennials to your gardens. And of course, if you love your spring color, then you will be adding in your spring flowering bulbs. So we have got an auger fit for every situation that you can kind of think of in your garden. Now, if you go to Power Planter's websites, powerplanter.com, and you look on that, you will see that we have a section called Jenny's Picks. And so we work very closely with Greg, the owner, and his team at Power Planter, and we have featured on their website these exact products that we use. So when in doubt, and you're like, I don't remember exactly which one Jenny said, go to their website, click on Jenny's Picks, and then you can scroll through, and I have a personal testimony on each, whether it's the 3-inch, the 5, the 7, the 9, that tells you how I use them in my garden. So make sure you check that out. Back up just a little bit. Okay, Power Planter. Who is Power Planter? Power Planter is a third-generation family business located in Illinois. Greg is the current owner. His grandfather, Wayne, actually started Power Planter way back in, I think it's like the 60s. Don't quote me on that, but it was a while ago, because they are a farm. They are farmers. And Mr. Wayne decided that he needed to manufacture these augers to move grain, right? Because that's what they do, is a lot of grain. So they use these augers to move grain. Somebody contacted him and said, Wayne, you do these to move grain. You think maybe you could do me one that I could use in my garden? So that is kind of the beginning of the story. Greg, the grandson, who is just a fantastic fella, he's just a wonderful human being, is now running the company. It is his company. He and his wife Lisa have precious babies, and they live on that same farm in Illinois. All of these products are made 100% in the United States. They use the DeWalt drills because that is just what they have found is best for their products. You do not have to use specifically a DeWalt drill on these, but you will want to have, the bigger the auger, the bigger the drill that you're going to want to use. And we're going to explain to you why we use these drills, because it kind of comes in pretty important when you have heavy compacted clay soil. So talking about a drill, let's just go ahead and get into that first, and then we'll go through all of the different augers. So right here beside of me, you will see this is the one that we use the absolute most around here, because this is what they call, it is the DeWalt 460. It is actually was meant to go, I think, like when you're doing construction and you're running wires through studs. That is what it was meant for, but it has what they call the E-clutch in there. And the E-clutch is what's going to save us when you have heavy compacted soil, roots, and or rocks, because what happens is when you hit resistance with this drill, so when you're auging your hole, you're drilling your hole, you hit something or it becomes bogged down, the drill itself will actually cut off. And that is really important, because you don't want to go in there full bore and that thing just get away from you. There are some safety tips that you just have to be aware of. You are using basically a power tool in your garden. So this 460 is the best one, the one that we use the absolute most, because it has that E-clutch. It has a really nice torque on it. We always have it in the #1 setting, so that is nice and slow and steady. That is a huge difference when you have compacted clay soil. Slow and steady. You do not want to go all the way wide open, because you're going to get hurt. Just going to tell you that. And when you go slow and steady, your battery lasts for a very long time. I can plant for days on one charge of a battery, and it just really, it lasts for a long time. With that drill, you can interchange any of the augers on that. So let's go through and talk about, we're going to go from the smallest up to the biggest, and let me tell you about how I use those. Okay, so correction before we go any further, this actual drill is a 60 volt. I was looking at the battery and it says 20/60. That means that the battery can be used on a 20 volt or a 60 volt drill. Speaking of a 20 volt drill, this is a 20 volt drill. This is one that Jerry had that we already had. And so we use this a lot when we are using the smaller auger, which is the 3-inch. So this is one that we had gotten originally, I mean, this was a couple of years ago. We've been using Power Planter for about 4 years now. So this is probably like one of the absolute original ones that we got. You can see that it has been well used. Now, we're not really using this one very much anymore, because they now have a 3-inch with a heavy duty tip on the end. That is what is key for us here when you have like thick compacted clay soil, rocks, and roots. So the difference is that on the tip you have a, they call it the heavy duty tip. So basically what this does is it is smaller and it kind of creates a pilot hole, if you will. And that pilot hole then allows for the rest of the auger to go down into your soil and really work the soil. One that's really important to know as far as how these augers are designed is they all have a hex head. It is not a rounded head, it is a hex head. So that means that when you put it in your drill, it latches on really well and it does not slip. It is tight within the chuck of the drill and stays in there nice and tight. Another difference that is going to separate Power Planter from other augers, because there are a lot of augers out there on the market, right? But there is a huge, massive difference. So you have in the, this is solid steel, so this is not going to bend. It is not going to warp. Your flighting is what they call the circular, I don't know, this thing. This is the flighting right here. And so it is nice, solid steel. It is not flimsy. It is not going to bend. It is not going to warp, and it is very balanced. So when you're drilling your hole, you get a nice, smooth drill. It is not going to be warped, and it is not going to be slinging around there. The heavy duty tips on that 3-inch, we use 3 inches for a lot of times in the fall when we're doing our bulbs. So this past fall, when Jerry and I went through and we're planting hundreds, if not thousands, of spring flowering bulbs, this is what we use, because this is the perfect size to drill a hole really quickly, pop a tulip bulb, a daffodil bulb, whatever you want to in here. So that is what the 3 inch is for. You can also easily use this on if you have, like, if you're doing mass plantings of like tomatoes and you have like little small things, or pansies. This would be great for those like 6-packs, right? That you can buy with your pansies, your violas, your tomatoes, peppers, what have you. You can also use them for, this is a proven winners. This is what they call the grande. This is a 4.25 container. So you can use the 3 inch on this. What you will have to do is, because the 4 inch is obvious, 4 is bigger than 3, but what you're going to do is, when you have your drill and your auger, instead of just going straight down, you're going to do a little hip dance, and you're going to wind it around, and you're going to open up that hole just a little bit. That way your grande size container or a quart size container can plop down into that hole really easy. Now, if you buy like kits, because you know, whenever you bundle something together, it's always cheaper. So they do offer different, like the heavy duty professional like landscaper, which will include like your drill and batteries and cases, and then it will include the 3 inch auger, a 5 inch auger, and a 7 inch auger. So 3 inch is great for those smaller plants, bulbs, those kinds of things. Now, 5 inch is what is actually on the drill right now, and this is actually the new auger, but it's a little dirty because Jenny went ahead and started using it before we did this video, because time just couldn't wait. I believe probably because somebody at the nursery was using my 5 inch, so I had to go ahead and break open the box and use the new one. So this is the 5 inch auger bit. So if you use this for a grande size container or a quart, you're not going to have to do the little hip dance, because it'll be perfectly the right size, a little bit bigger, and you can just plop those plants straight into the ground. Another benefit of using these augers that I really didn't anticipate when we started using power planter augers is that if you have heavy, thick clay, you understand what I'm saying. When you have a shovel and you dig a hole, you don't just pull out this lovely, fluffy, very aerated soil, right? You can pull out the soil, and it can be in massive, huge chunks of just this red clay. It does not break up really easy. But if you're using the drill and the augers, your soil becomes very fluffy, very aerated. Even when it's wet and clunky, it still aerates it so much better than you could ever do with a shovel. So that is a wonderful extra benefit. So when you plant your shrubs, your perennials, your annuals, whatever in the ground, you have really nice loose soil that you can really get back in there and pack all around the plant, so that you do not have any air holes around roots. Because if you have air holes, that is not a good thing. 5 inches are great for those grandes, those quarts. You can even use them for a gallon. So this is a gallon size shrub. Yes, again, the gallon is going to be wider than this 5 inch. That's where you're going to bring in your hip action a little bit more, and you're going to pretend like you're dancing, nice and slow and steady, and you just work it back and forth, and it really opens up your hole and can easily go fit a 1 gallon in there, whether it's a shrub or it's a perennial, what have you. The 5 inch, I would say, this is kind of off the cuff here, but I dare say that my 5 inch might be the most versatile, because you can use it for so many different things. You could use it for bulbs if you wanted to. You could use it for smaller containers, the 4 inch, but you can also use it for a gallon. You could even use it for a 3 gallon. So we've had those situations where we have a 5 inch auger on the drill and we're going to plant a shrub. Well, I'm sorry, sometimes I'm tired and I'm lazy, whatever you want to call it, and I don't want to switch from, you know, a 5 inch to the 7 or the 9 gallon. So what we'll do is we'll actually drill 3 holes very close to each other in like a triangle, and then work it, and it opens it right up, and you can put your 3 gallon shrub in there. So that is the 5 inch. Now, moving on to the 7 inch. The 7 inch really is meant for those gallons. So a 7 inch is meant, it is the perfect size for a gallon. Again, you could easily plant a shrub in a 3 gallon in this. You would just work it, or you could go ahead and do multiple little holes very close to each other, work it, and it opens it up, and you will have a nice hole for a 3 gallon shrub. So that is the 7-inch. Next on the list is the final one that we use, and this is the 9-inch auger bit. And so I'm going to hold these two up because one is brand new and one has been really, really well loved. Now, if you've been around Creekside and you've seen me use this stuff and you just kind of know our story and my personality, you may notice that some of my tools have a pink, lovely marking on them. The pink doesn't come from the power planter because we are a working nursery, right? We grow the plants that we sell. We have a garden center. So there's a lot of people and there's always a project going on. Sometimes I would find that my tools would just like up and walk away. And then it's like, is this mine or is this the nursery's? Like, whose is this? And, when Jenny starts to get her own set of tools, I don't like it when they sprout feet and walk off. So I began marking my territory with pink duct tape. So you will see that this has pink duct tape. I have not marked the other ones yet. They're still very pretty and shiny and I didn't want to kind of mess them up. So here we have the old one that we've been using for, oh gosh, years now, probably 3 years we've used this one. And then this one's brand new, straight out of the box. The one that we've had for a long time is really, really used. It has, the paint is gone on it and it is starting to get worn down. Whereas the new one is still nice and clean and shiny and very sharp edges. So this brings us to another point. First of all, 9 inches, how do we use them? 3 gallons. So they're great for 3 gallons and above. So if you have a 7 gallon, if you have a 15-gallon tree that you're gonna plant, again, you're gonna use that triangle method. You're gonna do 3 holes in a triangle formation very close to each other, and then you're going to work it and open up that hole. So you can use this 9-inch, will do perfectly for a 3-gallon shrub, and if you wanted to use it for a 5-gallon, a 7-gallon, 15-gallon, you can use this and just make multiple holes and then wiggle your hips and get the action going on and then open up that hole. Back to the point of how these things are made. So we have had a ton of interaction with Greg. He is just, like I said, he's a fantastic fella, and he says that he's probably the most brutally honest man that you'll ever meet because he just tells you how it is. One of the differences with the power planter company is that customer service is extremely important to them. And when we first explored the whole power planter products, Jerry ordered the professional landscape package because we were doing landscaping with the company, the Creekside at that time. So he wanted to test this out because we work smarter, not harder, right? So we got the whole package. It had the drill, it had different auger bits, it had the batteries, everything that we needed for that. Ran into a couple of problems, a couple of situations that Jerry just couldn't quite figure out. So he contacted Power Planter, and lo and behold, it was Greg, the owner, who they had a great phone conversation, and Greg was able to walk him through and say, okay, this is what we need to do, then do this and this and this. So the customer service is extremely important to Greg. So you can call in, you can send an email, you are going to get help when you call them. Even if you're not quite sure what you're supposed to use, or you have a battery, you have a drill already and you want to know if things are compatible. They are fantastic resource and help and assistance to you. Greg jokes and says that he's a smart businessman, but according to some people, he's not a smart businessman because of the way he designed this product. I will explain. Everything on here is pretty much replaceable. Because this is the heavy duty drills, on the end of each of these heavy duty drills, there is the heavy duty tip. So here I have one right here. This is completely replaceable. So if you can see the difference between the one that we have been using for several years and the one that is absolutely brand new, you can clearly see our clay soil, our rocks and our roots have worn down this heavy duty tip. All we have to do is come in here, take the pin out, and then put the new heavy duty tip on, and boom, it's like we almost have a brand new auger because it will drill that hole so incredibly easy. So the heavy duty tip, completely replaceable. You can buy just this and not have to buy a whole new auger. You can also, so you have the heavy duty tip on the end. Next, on the actual flighting of the drills, you have these blades that bolt on. They too have been worn down because your heavy duty tip is what creates the pilot hole. Then that first section of those blades is what really starts to dig in on a wider scale of the drill. That too is completely replaceable. So you can order and they will send you based on what size your auger is, whether it's a 5, 7, or 9, they have those replaceable blades. And they just simply bolt on, take it off, put them back on. Flighting is still great. If for some reason something happens and your hex head right here that goes into the drill gets messed up, again, there is a pin right here. You can take it out, buy a new one, and plop that in. So everything on here is replaceable. You can upgrade, the maintenance on it is that you can take care of these and you're not having to buy a whole new auger once again, which really after a couple of years, if you have that thick, heavy clay soil like we do, or just compacted soil with roots and rocks and all sorts of fun things, you're going to want to replace those so that your life stays a little easier when you are drilling your holes. Just to review and recap, because I know that we've gone through a lot of information here, for us at Creekside, with our heavy compacted red clay soil, we only use the drills that have the heavy duty tip. It has made a massive difference. When Jerry first bought that landscaper bundle, I don't know if I said it, I may have misspoken and said it was the heavy duty. It was not a heavy duty. It was just the traditional drills, augers, that did not have that heavy duty tip. And then after we were talking with Greg, and he actually had seen a couple of videos of mine where I was like practically standing on top of the drill trying to get the the 9-inch drill into our clay soil, and it wasn't going anywhere because if you have that compacted soil, you can hit it sometimes. It's like you hit pan and it just spins. It just does not move. It does not catch in the soil and create a delicious hole for your new plants to go into. So that's when he was like, okay, honey, you really need the heavy duty tip. And so once I experienced the drills and the augers using that heavy duty tip, we've never gone back. So everything that we use, whether it's the 3, the 5, 7, 9, it always has the heavy duty tip because that is such a key difference with compacted soil and with roots and with rocks. So very important difference between those heavy duties and the not heavy duties. You basically just go to Power Planter's website, click on that Jenny's Picks, because that way you will see all of these on there, and then that way you can decide what is going to be the best application for you. You can do, if you want to just do the whole shebang, right, and want to do the kit, that kit will include this drill, 2 batteries, a charger, and then both the 3, 5, and the 7-inch heavy duty augers. So that comes as a whole complete kit, and that is a great selection. I mean, you can do anything in your garden with that bundle, with that kit. If you want to add on the 9-inch, then you absolutely could do that. That is, again, going to be perfect, the perfect size to do your 3 gallons, and then it will help do bigger plantings with the 9-inch. The 2 that we really use the most here at Creekside are the 5-inch and the 9-inch, because a lot of times I am planting annuals, perennials, and shrubs. That's what we're doing. We are blessed because we are a nursery. We have bigger equipment to do our 15 gallons. So a lot of times we can just use that equipment to do the big stuff. But when I use my 5-inch, that's what I'm using for my grandes with my annuals. The 5-inch is wonderful for doing, like I said, doing those grandes, doing your perennials, and then when you want to move up, you can do the 9-inch for maybe bigger perennials, or you can do it with shrubs. So the 5 and the 9 is really what we use the absolute most here at Creekside. Come the fall, That 3-inch though is really, really helpful for our spring flowering bulbs and the pansies and violas in those little 6-packs. But I hope you have found this helpful. I hope it has answered some questions about the different, whether it's a different kind of drill that you use or if it's a different kind of auger, the different sizes, what makes, you know, power planters so different than anything, you know, something that you can buy off of Amazon or you can buy at a big box store. Absolutely, if you're going to, you know, spend and invest and you love to garden, but sometimes you just find it really difficult to get, you know, using that shovel, it's just even physically hard, the power planter really makes a massive difference. And you can plant a large number of plants in a very small amount of time. We actually did a fun little video with Jerry the other day when we were planting a bunch of annuals to one of the entrance beds. And so we kind of timed him, like, how fast can you drill? I think it was 12 holes for annual containers. And he did 12 holes in, I think, 23 seconds. So he was zipping through that, but you can just, it saves your body and it saves time and energy by using these, and it just makes a huge, huge difference in the garden. We have had customers and viewers who have gotten these and they absolutely love it as much as we do. So go check out powerplanter.com. Jenny's Picks will always have this linked in our video description, so you can check that out. And you can, we are going to be offering this. We offer it both at the nursery currently. So if you're coming to the nursery, we do have a selection of the power planter augers, and we do try to keep at least a couple of the drills at the nursery. So if you're coming, you can pick one of these up and feel it and see it, see it with your eyes and see it with your hands, feel it and see exactly what it is. You will see the difference as soon as you put your hands on this. You can also go visit gardeningwithcreekside.com. This is our website, and we have the power planters available there on our website. So you can go, if you're on Gardening with Creekside's website, you can go there, click on Jenny's Picks, so we have a whole section that explains all of these beautiful drills and augers. You can click on that and then you can order it through our website. And yeah, so you can get these fantastic drills and augers delivered, free shipping to your home. Makes it really super easy. As always, we hope you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Thank you so much for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.